Hello. I have just gotten off the phone with the crew from Ironman Oceania. Unfortunately, the bad news here in Australia, how's that audio? Is that Ironman Australia and Ironman 70.3 Port Macquarie have been cancelled. So they were set to take place in September, but they have been cancelled. The original one obviously was meant to be in May, but due to COVID, it has been moved to September. But they have just announced, and I have confirmed with the team from Ironman Oceania, that Ironman Australia, Ironman 70.3 Macquarie have been cancelled. Hi to everyone who is just tuning in on Instagram Live and to everyone on Facebook Live as well. Few more updates with what is happening. The reason Ironman Australia has been cancelled, so we're about 10 weeks out from Ironman Oz, and obviously 70.3 Port Macquarie that takes place on the same day, is essentially it's a regional centre, and with talks with Port Macquarie, from what we understand, between Ironman and the people in Port Macquarie, they couldn't put on an event of that calibre and stick to, all of the rules that are in place for piecing together an event that is that big in a small community. So the event itself, and we've discussed this before in all of the video content that we have put out there, talking to Andrew Mesick. Pete Murray has just joined us. Pete, as you all know, he's joined us on Instagram. Pete Murray, the voice of Ironman here in the Oceania region, is also a resident of Port Macquarie, so he will be feeling it right now. Pete, I'm so sorry that the race has been cancelled. That event is such a big event, and it doesn't matter what way you skin it, it puts a big strain on the local community. And with the world in the position that it is right now, unfortunately, that community, the decision's been made that community cannot cope with that strain. We've got a few people making comments, and I'll try and get to them as we go. So that's the reason why Port Macquarie has been cancelled 10 weeks out. I feel like the silver lining in that is that people have been told with plenty of notice to then be able to do what they need to do in terms of hopefully maybe recouping travel and accommodation costs, and can hopefully try and plan for something else, which brings me to the next part. I spoke with the Ironman crew and asked them what would happen to all the age groupers who have signed up for the original Ironman Australia or 70.3 Port Macquarie that was meant to be in May, and then have been deferred to the September race, which, if you're just tuning in, has been cancelled. What will happen with those entries? Apparently, what is going to happen, the people who have signed up, who are meant to be on the start line, will be getting an email by the end of this week, giving you a bunch of different options. I flat out asked them whether a refund would be available. And at this point in time, they couldn't answer that question. So I guess if you are meant to be racing at Ironman Oz or Port Mac 70.3, keep an eye out in your inbox. What I do know is that the options so far will probably be deferred to Ironman Australia in 2021, or potentially another Ironman race throughout the season. Again, no comment or response about refunds at this point in time, but I have been told that by the end of the week you will find out what will happen to your entry. If anyone's watching and you were supposed to race at Ironman Australia or 70.3 Port Mac, please leave me a comment below. Let us know what your thoughts are. Pete has just said, like everyone, the call made is a shame. However, we're all experiencing different situations in this crazy world. And it's so very, very true. Again, like I said, a silver lining is that a decision has been made, so it's not left until the very last second for you to find out what would happen. Sorry, I'm just working on two different platforms here. Moving on to the other races, I did ask about the other races in Australia and what is happening with them. And currently, as I'm sure you can all understand, is that these decisions are being looked at daily, if not hourly, at the moment. From what we understand, based on discussions today, is that Sunny Coast 70.3, which is actually meant to be on the same day as Port Macquarie races, will still be going ahead at this point in time. And so will Ironman 70.3 Western Sydney. So at this point in time, they are both going ahead. Can I just ask how the audio is at the moment? I assume that people can hear me because you are commenting. Sorry, I'm just getting a few more comments coming in. So those races will be going ahead. In Queensland, the rules are a little bit different, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky in terms of states with different rules. The rules, Harvey Bay 100. Guys, can you send us some information about what's happening in your world? If the crew who are watching on Instagram from the Harvey Bay 100 Triathlon, can you shoot me an email just with a bit of an update about how you guys are going? I'd really appreciate it. We want to make sure that we are doing our best to highlight more of the independent races as well. So if the Harvey Bay crew are listening to me on Instagram, please just send me an email at Steph, S-T-E-F, at witsup.com. Lucy Hobson over on Instagram has said she was entered for Port Mac 70.3, disappointed that it's been cancelled, but not surprised, unfortunately. Everyone has said that the sound quality is good, fantastic. But back to Queensland, the rules are, and I've just had to make a bunch of messy notes. The rules in Queensland as of the 3rd of July are that you can have an event up to 10,000 people in Queensland. This is just for Queensland. Thanks to the crew at Harvey Bay 100. Appreciate it. Want to make sure that we're looking out for you guys as much as we can as well. So 10,000 people are allowed at an event in Queensland as of July 3rd. And Sally has just beat me to the punch, as long as you have a COVID-safe plan in effect. So you would have seen Ironman Oceania and Ironman globally, I think, post a video a week or so ago about the different actions and steps they're taking to, I guess, bring down those contact points in terms of putting on an event of the caliber of an iron distance, which has thousands of athletes, but also all of the spectators, volunteers, and event staff as well. So that is why Sunny Coast 70.3 at the moment, I would say, is the best bet. But that also depends on whether the rest of the states do what they're supposed to, Victoria, and adhere to all of the rules and regulations in place so that we can get our borders open up again. As of midnight tonight, we will not be allowed to leave Victoria. Carrots, fine, Steph. Be interesting to see what happens with Melbourne 70.3 given the perilous state of your adopted hometown. Very true. We don't know what is happening with Melbourne 70.3. The other thing, Western Sydney 70.3. So those two, Western Sydney was supposed to be 2 weeks after Ironman Australia. So that means we're about 12 weeks out from that event. Seeing as though that is, it's not as big of an event as something like Ironman Australia and Port Mac 70.3 combined. At this point in time, that will still be going ahead, but obviously things can change daily. I was also told that because it's not in a small town community, so that strain isn't focused on one small town, that changes the rules a little bit as well. Now, I want to touch on something that Beth McKenzie and Elise Selsmark, I realised, I found out through them and then did some digging myself. Unfortunately for professional triathletes, if you were wanting to race Sunny Coast 70.3 or Western Sydney 70.3, at this point in time, from what we can see, there are no there is no professional prize money. I'm in the middle of trying to find out a little bit more, but in the past week or so, the professional triathletes were told that the prize money globally will be divvied out a little bit different to what we have seen in the past. I can fill you in a little bit more about that once I've done a little bit more digging and speaking to hopefully the Ironman crew over in the States, because from what I understand, that is a decision made on a global scale, not just within the Oceania region. So as it stands, if you're a half distance professional triathlete, you cannot make any money in 2020 if you are wanting to race an Ironman branded race. There are still other half distance races that are meant to be going ahead. Challenge Shepparton, for example, is a race at this point in time, from what we understand, is still going ahead. And I'll be chasing up, and our team will be chasing up about Challenge Shepparton as well. I'm just getting a few more comments as well. Let's try and have a look at these. Mel Saltil has said, feel for event organisers and of course the magnitude of Ironman events. It's tough, but always the right call when lives are at risk. And that is the thing. These are not easy decisions to make, obviously. No one, not one single person who is involved in this sport wants a race to be cancelled. And like I keep saying, the only silver lining with this, I believe, is that a decision has been made. Yeah, it's tough. I'm going to keep going down because I saw a few more questions. J-Mac, when do you think they will advise of Sunny Coast? I can't tell you. The official response that I got from Ironman is that it is day by day. At this point in time, Sunny Coast 70.3 is going ahead. Based on the information that I've received, I would say Sunny Coast 70.3 is your best bet of a race going ahead so far, because of the different rules in Queensland in terms of the COVID government guidelines. Phil Stoneman, I think I've answered your question. It is still going ahead as we speak. At this stage, what is the next race in the global calendar? I don't know that off the top of my head. I'd have to have a look at the global calendar. So sorry, I cannot answer that. And obviously, it's different in every state in Australia. Never mind different countries across the globe as to what the rulings are. We saw a couple of weeks ago, or even a week ago, I can't even remember now, that athletes, event staff, were traveling to a race and it was called off within 24 to 48 hours of it meant to be going ahead, which to me, that's even tougher than knowing earlier and it being called off. So like I said before, I feel that the decision to call it off now is some kind of silver lining. Okay, I'm just bouncing. Kylie has said, Sally, is that official? Because she was talking about Queensland can go ahead with a COVID safe plan. I can answer that. That is official. That is the official word from Ironman as well. As of right now, we don't know when that can change. 72 hours ago, we were all good. And now all of a sudden, our borders are closing here in Victoria. So it could change. But as of right now, Sunny Coast 70.3 is going ahead. I'm going to jump over to Instagram. Caitlin Illingworth has said, do you think they would still, it's really hard to read white writing because it's coming up on this background. Do you think they will hold the event if it would mainly be locals attending, given some states' borders are still closed off to people? Great question. And it's one question I'm posing to Ironman. I've got a bunch of questions that I need to send through to them. Sometimes it's hard to find out the right person to answer the questions. I guess to answer you with my own set of experience, knowledge, whatever. I I guess it depends on locally, I guess within the state itself, how many people they can get to a race. At the moment, if borders keep closing, that might be the way we have to go for a little while. And I guess that's probably going to be the answer across the globe as well. Kylie, Cairns, as far as I'm aware, I did ask about Cairns as well, still going ahead as of this date. And again, Cairns being in Queensland, obviously, potentially a bit more of a better chance of still going ahead. I'm just going to add this one. Sally has said, Tourism and Events Queensland have released guidelines which event directors can implement. So that's really important for people to understand that back up to Queensland, the government rules are that as of the 3rd of July, which has been and gone obviously, an event can have 10,000 people as long as they adhere to the government guidelines surrounding COVID. So that's hopefully answering a few questions. Has there been discussion about Ironman WA? Currently, WA borders are still closed. Great question. Unfortunately, same answer. And I feel it's hard because everyone's got so many questions and people just can't answer them all at the moment. I think that the standard response is, as of right now, things are going ahead as planned. We're just going to have to play it by ear. Like I said before, though, I feel at the moment Queensland is kind of our best bet for races going ahead due to that ruling from the government that says we can have an event. We can have an event of 10,000 people. Renee Kiley has just said, who's coming to the pub with me tonight? I would, but I'm not allowed out of Victoria, so I cannot. I will be having a gin and tonic in my Witsup Keep Cup tonight, which is what I did last night. It's just going from gin and tonic in the evening to coffee in the morning. Who else have we got here? Oh, Carrots has said it was Lubbock. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Lubbock 70.3, I think in Texas was the one where they cancelled it about, I think it was a day, 24 to 48 hours before the race went ahead. WA, yes, I've covered that one. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just going through all the questions on Instagram and on here on Facebook. So for anyone who's just tuning in now, the unfortunate news is that Ironman Australia and 70.3 Port Macquarie that was set to take place in September have been cancelled. What is going to happen to the athletes who have signed up? You will find out if you have signed up. You will find out by the end of the week, from what I understand, what your options are. They will potentially be transferred to next year's race, transferred to another race in the Oceania region. Refunds, I flat out asked the question and they couldn't give me a response, so I don't know what the answer is with that, but you will find out in the email that you should be receiving by the end of this week. 70.3 Sunny Coast, 70.3 Western Sydney at this point in time are still going ahead without a professional pro field. The prize money has been pulled from those races based on the information we have on the Ironman website. I'm following that up. Very unfortunate for half-distance specialists in Australia who will not be able to make money through the Ironman brand, but there are other half distances within this country that perhaps they can look at doing. Reiko has just said Ironman Louisville just cancelled and will not return for 2021. Oh no, it was going to be the last year, even before COVID-19. Oh, that is really disappointing. Sorry to hear that. Not the way that you want to finish an event. That is for sure. Any other questions? I'm just going to sit here for another minute or so just so I can answer any other questions if there are any. And Oh, hang on. Scrolling back through. Yeah, it sucks, but at least you have an answer about those race 10 weeks out. Like I say, just a little bit better than knowing 10 hours before the race. Pete Murray, good job on the spot, Steph. Thank you, Pete. Hope you guys are doing A-OK. Give Swiss a big hug and a kiss from me. Grace Tech has just joined us. Grace, if you can hear me, I would love to get a comment from you about there being no prize money for the professionals over the 70.3 distance in Australia for the rest of 2020. So for those of you who are just joining us, sorry if I'm repeating myself for everyone, but that's the way these things go. 70.3 Sunny Coast and 70.3 Western Sydney will not have any prize money. We're following that up. I believe that is a decision from the top on a global scale, and the prize money globally have been divvied up throughout the world. For those of you who don't know, Pete Murray will be going live with more updates this evening over on his Facebook page, I believe, so tune in over there. Jenny Johnson, most of us in America have had 3 to 5 races cancelled. Ironman won't issue refunds and most of the transfer options are late 2020, which is also likely to be cancelled. It's a tough one. It is a very tough one. It just sucks all around, to be quite honest with you. So Jenny, the only thing that you can do with the money that you have spent is just keep transferring it to another race, is what I understand. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the same thing here in the Oceania region. I don't know. I need to make that very clear. I don't know. Yeah, we will find out by the end of this week. Carmel has just said, any news about Ironman Cairns? Currently, it is still going ahead. The Queensland government have said that as of July 3rd, which has obviously been and gone, any event in Queensland can go ahead up to 10,000 people as long as they adhere to a COVID safe plan. So I would say that Queensland, based on that information, is in a pretty decent spot in terms of races going ahead. Pam Goodley, I'm in the USA also. I'm not optimistic about any large races here in 2020. Pam and Jenny, I hear you. I think it will be very, very tough for races to go ahead over there. I think there's a bird in my chimney. My chimney is right there, and I feel like there's a bird that's stuck in the chimney. Okay, I'm just going to go back over to Instagram, so bear with me. Courtney Akrig has said, great job, Steph. Thank you. We're in this together. Athletes, event organisers, industry stakeholders. Hard year across all sports. A year where the Olympics was rescheduled certainly sets the scene. And that's, very, very true. Grace Tech has said, I saw this coming, but now it's official. It definitely sucks. We'll have to figure out my plan for the rest of the year. Like many pros, I rely on prize money. May have to work her regular job. Grace is a physiotherapist, so at least she has a bit of a backup plan, which is great for Grace, but unfortunately there's a lot of athletes out there who do not have a second job and will be struggling to make ends meet, but also recognises that it is tough for race directors and they're doing what's best for the health of everyone. And this is what we really want to stress here at the moment. I would hate to be a race director at the moment. It would suck to be a race director. And mainly because they do not have the answers that everyone wants. And it's unfortunate. What I would love to see from everybody is just pure transparency. And I feel like that's the only way that we can all sort of stick together and get through all of this. nonsense. Who else have we got? Hi, Karen. Great to see you. Always great to keep us informed. I haven't been on live for a little bit. I've had to take a bit of a step back, but we will be bringing back the Witsup Weekly Grind as of next week. I just needed to take my foot off the gas a little bit. I guess it's quite similar to people who have been training for races. Just have to, take the foot off the gas a little bit, look after your health, and day by day, unfortunately, all of the cliches that you can think of all rolled into one, but they're cliches for a reason, and we do have to keep taking things day by day. All right, I'm going to sign off because anyone who's still watching is probably bored of me repeating myself. But if you have just tuned in, I do want to say that it is confirmed that Ironman Australia and Ironman 70.3 Port Macquarie that was set to take place in September has officially been cancelled, mainly because it's a regional centre. These kind of events place a great strain on the local community, and that's why Port Macquarie will not be going ahead. Western Sydney 70.3 and Sunshine Coast 70.3 at this point in time will be going ahead. Queensland has the rules that you can have an event up to 10,000 people as long as you adhere to the COVID government safe plan. So Queensland is has a great opportunity to get some events up and running. Same goes with Ironman Cairns. At this point in time, Ironman Cairns and 70.3 Cairns is still going ahead. Melbourne, it's still on the agenda. I did forget to ask about Melbourne because it's not a race that we're used to having because we haven't had it before. It is the inaugural Ironman 70.3 Melbourne that was set to take place in November. Oh, also, I did see someone ask about 70.3 World Champs. No updates on that currently. That's about it from me. I think I've answered everybody's questions. One last thing. Carrots has said transparency is an interesting one. It's quite likely all events, regardless of size, will be feeling the financial pinch. Refund 100% of entries would likely send them broke. It's a catch-22. And it's a really good point. While people want their money back, we've got trying to look at it from both points of view. I think you're right. It could send companies broke on any scale. I guess all we need to remember is try and to practice a certain level of compassion for other people. We all want to see our sport continue to thrive, or continue to survive, I should say, to be quite honest, at the moment. So I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're okay. You're healthy. That's the main thing. And I'll see you back here on Monday at 1:00. We'll come back to our regularly scheduled Witsup Weekly Grind. And take care of yourselves. Stay healthy. And I'll chat to you soon. I have to go rescue a bird from my chimney.